What is up, everybody? It is that time of the week again, and man, oh man, is it a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday out. I hope everyone has a chance to get out and bask in this almost 70-degree weather. I know it's been a long time coming, but I have a feeling it's here, at least for the next couple days. So make sure you get out and get a little vitamin D in your life. Yeah, I know I have a laundry list of things to do around the house now that it is a little bit warmer. So hopefully, guys, we can all get our honeydews done so that we can maybe hit the golf course here in the next couple days. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, like the title says, we're going to talk about the state of independent insurance agencies. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, what does that mean? But we're going to get into that. But before we do, if you do not know me, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I am your insurance resource. And in videos like this, I like to discuss what's going on in the insurance industry, as well as break down any language policies, because let's be honest, insurance is its own language. So let me help you. All right, well, let's jump into the topic of today. Now, we've talked about the differences between independent agents and captive agents. Independent agents work with multiple companies, so that they're able to offer multiple different options when it comes to choosing home, auto, life, business, all of that stuff. And your captive agents usually just work with one company, like your Allstate, State Farm. Those are your captive agencies. Now, I've went down the rabbit hole of the benefits of captives, the benefits of independence, and I myself have worked on at both sides of the spectrum. And as you can imagine, I'm here, so I definitely prefer the independent side. But one part of the independent side that a lot of folks don't really know, because it kind of goes on behind the scenes, and hopefully, if the agency owner does things correctly, you really don't see a huge change. Now, let me grab my notes real quick. And before I really get into this, I want to say that I'm not bad mouthing or throwing shade, as the kids will say, at any agency in particular. I'm just going to state the facts and kind of give you an explanation as to what's going on and maybe what's going to go on in the future. So kind of that's my little disclaimer. I'm not, we're all in this together. So it's definitely not me versus another agent or agency. So please don't take it that way. When it comes to when an agency owner wants to retire, they pretty much just can't be like, all right, well, I'm done. So that's that. They have to, your policies comprise their book of business. And when they want to retire, they sell their book of business, similar to what Terry did here recently. And it's up to the agency owner. And this we're speaking about independence. I'm not really sure how it works on the captive side, but I would assume it's very similar. But if they do it correctly, the day-to-day really isn't any different. The companies they work with might be a little different, but the overall experience really shouldn't change. Now, the main difference comes as to who buys it. Now, I'll get into the Newell, Abbott, and Powers thing here later on in the video, but a lot of times what's happening now in particular is that when the agency owner wants to retire, investment companies are coming in and buying the book of business. And that's what we're seeing with a number of agencies, even here locally. So you're going to see, if they haven't already, which I did a little research on a couple agencies that I know, their Great Lakes region was rolled out yesterday, and the names of the agencies are going to change. Now, what does this mean for you as a client of any of these agencies? Well, in the day-to-day, probably not a lot, but I have a feeling moving forward is when the changes are going to start to come. Do I know what those are? Nope. I sure don't. But and this is completely my opinion, is that these independent agents are selling to these investment groups, and the investment groups are getting larger and larger and larger. And it's kind of getting the feel as to the independent agencies are moving towards more of a captive feel. They're getting larger and larger and larger. They're getting more and more sharehold of the industry. And that's kind of where we're going. So what does that, and again, what does that mean to you? From what I've seen, they're not just going to fire everybody and start fresh. Nope, that's not the case. Why? Because the people that are in those agencies are the ones that have made it successful. So why wipe the slate clean and just start new? Because that would cause a whole bunch of problems that these firms really don't want to deal with. It's one of those, when they were pitching it to us, it's like, it's, if it ain't broke, why fix it type thing. But the longer this goes on, the more they're trying to fix things that aren't broken, like name changes. And it might not be that important to you, but one of the reasons why I chose to go the independent route is because of the involvement in the community, the local feel where you can walk in and sit down and talk face to face with people. You can come in and pay your bill. All of these things with with a personal touch. Now, will these agencies that are being bought by these investment groups still do that? I'm assuming to at least a certain extent. Absolutely, absolutely. But it's the local feel that is going to be lost. Yes, the people that work there are local, but they're owned by corporate entities now instead of being owned by local folks. And like I said, a lot of folks really aren't going to care. They really aren't going to care as long as their premiums stay right where, close to where they're at. They don't care who owns it or what's going on with it. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying for those of you that do like to deal locally, this might change things for you. And and I'm trying to parse my words here carefully because, like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. And I have worked for one of these agencies that was purchased by an investment group. And at the start of everything, it was nothing's going to change. Your day to day is not going to change. Well, slowly it did. And right before I left to come here, they had a meeting that said that all agencies owned by this group were going to go by their name. They were aiming at either the fourth quarter of last year or the first quarter of this year, which Monday would have fit that bill. So I think it's a very slippery slope that these companies or these groups are walking down. But ultimately, it probably isn't going to matter how slippery the slope gets because of the money that's behind them, as well as just their sheer size. And these groups, in particular, to the one that bought the agency I used to work for, they had agencies not only all over Michigan, but the United States, overseas. I mean, this is a worldwide thing. So, it in certain aspects, I mean, it seems like they're even far surpassing the captive agents when it comes to their, the global reach of this type of thing. So, to me, that kind of scares me because part of my job as being an insurance agent is not selling you policies. It's making sure that you and your assets are properly covered. And when you're that big and that massive, and you kind of, in my opinion, you lose that personal touch. And to me, that's important because I should really, as your agent, I should really know how many kids you have, what do you do for a living? The more I know about you and your family makes my job easier because I can know, okay, what do I need to suggest to you to make sure that the things you've worked long and hard for throughout your life are being protected the way that they should. So that's kind of where, and I know these agencies have sent out mailers and done a bunch of things saying that the name is going to change. But let's be honest, who opens their mail anymore? And if it was done via email, a lot of you probably swept it to the junk folder. So I I wanted to make this video to let everyone know that this did happen. And like I said, not to throw shade on it, because the people that you're used to working in the office probably are still there. So it's not like it's going to be a massive change yet, still to be determined. But what I can do is I can, with full transparency, when Terry retired here at Abbott and Powers, the Newell agency out of Decatur and Pawpaw and Gobles, I mean, we have multiple locations, purchased the agency. Now, did Terry have the opportunity to sell to one of these investment groups? Absolutely. Absolutely. But with this tiny office, they would have just incorporated it into a bigger one. Instead of paying rent on this building, they would have just tried. And if the employees that worked here still did not want to make the venture, they would have been let go. Plain and simple. So once Terry found someone that wanted to purchase it, keep the office here in Marcellus open. Yes, we closed the one in Dowagiac, but the one in Marcellus here that's been here forever, that was very important to the Newells, because they themselves, I mean, Brad and Jay are third generation agency owners, and it's very important to them that the local feel still is here in Marcellus, because their mom grew up in Marcellus. They spend quite a lot of time in Marcellus, even though Brad's office is in Pawpaw and Jay's is in Decatur. So that was very important to them, and that's one of the reasons why Terry sold Abbott and Powers to them. Now, taking a bigger step back, have these investment firms talk to the Newells about selling. Absolutely, and they've turned them down multiple times. So I can say with a clear heart that we're not going anywhere. We are going to stay local. We are going to stay that local feel with all the agencies that are under the Newell name. So that's not going to change. The only thing that's really changed here in Marcellus is we no longer accept cash, and we have a couple other companies that we work with that Newells were already affiliated with, that now that we're under the Newell name, we can use as well. So it's a benefit to the Abbott and Powers clients, as well as, there was a company that we worked with here at Abbott and Powers that they didn't have. So it one hand washes the other, and all of our clients are better off for it, because we have at least another option to take a look at. So I hope this video you found, I'm not going to say educational, but informative, because it's something that's been weighing on my mind here quite a lot. And if you have any questions about any of this, please let me know. I mean, I'll throw up my contact here. You can comment on this video. You can message me right here on Facebook. Here's the office phone number and my personal email. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to let everyone, give everyone a heads up about this. Like I said, this video was not done to throw shade on anyone or anything, just to be informative and to kind of give you the stance of not only Abbott and Powers, but the Newell agency, as these things are going to roll out even further. So if you got, like I said, if you have any questions, if you want me to give you a quote, rewind a little bit, get my contact info, and I would love to help you out any way that I can. That being said, get out and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weather, and let's all have a very, very awesome week, and I will see you next time.